For our final session of the day, please welcome Shoptalk's Vice President of Original Content and Strategy, Ben Miller, and Shoptalk Europe's Vice President of Content, Adam Plom, for a Shoptalk Original Content presentation, the European Retail Zeitgeist, Retail Reimagined.
Well, good morning and a very warm welcome to Shoptalk's European Retail Zeitgeist for 2025. It's our aim to have been your guides to the ever-changing and at times uncharted European retail galaxy.
Now, throughout the show, we've sought to shine a light on the new trends, technologies and business models that we believe will create new opportunities across physical and digital retail. And we're really excited about the brave new worlds that lie ahead, and it's an excitement that stems from looking beyond short-term volatility and uncertainty.
Because you've never known so much about your customers before, at such scale, or had the computing power and the tools to be able to transform this data into insights and action. There's never been so many different routes to be able to get your products to consumers, creating cost-effective convenience like never before. And there have never been so many ways to be able to talk to and influence consumers, mostly indirectly into the palms of their hands.
Yet grasping these opportunities requires a continued radical reinvention of strategies, processes, and business models. So over the next 20 minutes, we'll share with you our 4 principles that we believe you need to apply to your businesses. Now, they're not entirely new, yet technological and societal change means that satisfying them in the future will be manifestly different. They are operational efficiency and agility, providing customer hospitality, inspiring shoppers and unlocking discovery, and balancing adjacent revenue streams.
And we'll begin this morning by going boldly into operational efficiency and agility. Because even the most future-focused optimist, and we're a pretty optimistic bunch at Shoptalk, would acknowledge that we're traveling through an unexplored political and economic universe. All organizations, regardless of sector, are once again navigating a so-called VUCA environment, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. It's an environment where leaders and businesses require agility, tenacity, and real clarity on corporate direction and priorities to ensure everyone in your organization is lined up to pursue your North Star. Now, for retailers and consumer brands, especially in the short term, there's some more specific practical actions to take. And foremost in our minds is the need for increased pricing agility. Companies need the adaptability to respond to competitor, supplier, and macroeconomic-driven pricing shifts to ensure ongoing competitiveness. And the potential swings here could be large and require quick responses. Here, we're seeing retailers connecting multiple technologies to maintain margin positions. New AI tools provide more comprehensive analysis of the implications of price changes across categories or even across the whole store, and then what the optimum margin positions can be. The increased adoption of electronic shelf edge labels unlocks faster price changes, reducing store hours and driving compliance. And market price moves can be monitored, analysed, and responded to quicker than ever, again, using AI tools. Now, this increased price transparency is not, of course, the sole domain of retailers, and finding the lowest price for any item is now easier than ever for shoppers. So, just because your import costs have increased, by no means provides automatic permission to raise your prices. Your brand must still deliver value. Now, at this point, I'm running the risk of staring the glaringly obvious, so let me expand. Value has always been about more than simply price alone. It's an exchange of what a shopper is prepared to invest in terms of money, time, meaning, ethics, and now data, and what they expect to get in return in terms of item quality, experience, personalization, and emotion. And it's unique to every shopper and almost every shopping occasion. Hence, engaging and inspiring shoppers will be critically important despite the inevitable increased attention on item pricing in coming months. And herein lies an apparent retail paradox. Our conventional wisdom holds that stores can either be efficient or engaging, but not both. And destroying that belief will be fundamental to success in the years ahead, as leading retailers continue to invest in the efficiency of store operations while simultaneously developing exciting retail formats. This latest year-end data from CB Insight demonstrates the significant uptick in funding flowing into technology companies focused on in-store tech. Key areas of investment for both retailers and investors include, firstly, inventory management and visibility tools, which is especially important as inventory levels will rise in response to supply chain disruption. Secondly, labor scheduling and optimization tools, e-commerce order fulfillment and return management. And in recent months, we can add agentic AI tools to the list. Now, to level set, at Shoptalk, we see AI, agentic AI, as a form of artificial intelligence that uses foundational models to operate autonomously, utilizing step-by-step reasoning with access to data and tools that enable the agent to take action. And whilst it's really early days in terms of use cases, the potential to automate processes to drive efficiencies in retail is significant. Look, we're going to come back to talk more about the consumer-facing agent opportunity later. So for now, I'm just going to wrap this section with a couple of takeaways. Firstly, expect an even greater focus on price in the coming months, so lean into tools that will support your pricing agility. Secondly, operational efficiency and shopper engagement are not either-ors. Both are required to win. And finally, investment and innovation in in-store technology is increasing, unlocking new operational efficiencies.
Thanks, Ben. Now, our second principle for successful retail and brand propositions is providing customer hospitality. Now, at its core, our concept of retail hospitality centers on creating welcoming spaces for shoppers to entice and engage them. On the Cry On stage on Monday, we heard how Tesco is seeking to prevent what they call sleep shopping by creating environments where shoppers are engaged and receptive to communication and influence. Now, retailers need to prevent their physical stores, their points of sale, from becoming too transactional, which requires a careful balancing act to be successful. Optimizing customer engagement with store efficiency, as Ben has just discussed. Combining the latest retail technology to support shoppers and colleagues with good old-fashioned customer service and that personal touch, of supercharging your shopper-facing colleagues with detailed product data and personalized shopper insights to unlock clienteling without being intrusive or just creepy, and in meeting shoppers' seemingly ever-increasing need for speed and convenience while creating experiences and opportunities to inspire, influence, and educate them. Now, these balancing acts are, of course, no means easy, but this is a moment when fickle customers can easily swap brands and chase the cheapest price. So retailers and brands are using the hospitality concept to help build emotional connections with their shoppers, creating desire to overcome commoditization, turning to design principles to offer elevated experiences, and using physical spaces to create a sense of community or exclusivity, like Louis Vuitton is doing with its cafes. This one opened recently in Heathrow Terminal 2. Or like the House of Rituals flagship in Amsterdam, which features a spa, their Mind Oasis Sanctuary, and an Asian restaurant, as we heard from Rituals founder and CEO Raymond Klosterman in his opening keynote on Monday. Or like Inditex did last autumn when it opened its first Zara Man store in Madrid. Now, I actually visited the store earlier this year myself, and I experienced the Zara Cafe, which is Zara's first integrated own-brand coffee shop designed for the local community, and which, in my opinion at least, offered a pretty good cortado. Now, perhaps these three examples take the hospitality concept somewhat too literally, but they perfectly demonstrate the principle of creating deeper emotional engagement through spaces. Getting hospitality right is a key ingredient in fostering customer loyalty. And that's why we believe this is the perfect opportunity to dive into loyalty programs in European retail. On the one hand, loyalty is won by consistently delivering on your customer value proposition. Shoppers will reward you when you embrace their needs and expectations. But loyalty can also be incentivized through compelling programs and mechanics. Now, we've seen a rush of new activities surrounding loyalty schemes, including launches and relaunches, often incorporating next-generation demand creation techniques to engage and inspire shoppers. And we've identified a number of common traits in 5-star loyalty programs. Unlocking relevant discounts or offers tied to preferences or prior purchase behaviors. Many brands are now increasing the flexibility of these rewards, for instance, by removing expiration dates. Incorporating elements of gamification to drive customer engagement, create fun, and potentially social buzz. Building community by connecting fans of the brand and giving loyal customers a voice. Driving excitement and exclusivity through limited time drops or early product access. and bundling loyalty with subscription models to provide cheaper or more timely products or deliveries. The one common trend across all great loyalty programs is that they simultaneously recognize both the importance of first-party data as critical unlocks in personalization and digital demand creation, and the need to offer more and more value to shoppers in order for them to be prepared to give you that data. Now, before I hand back to Ben, here's our 3 takeaways on retail hospitality and the evolution of loyalty programs. Firstly, hospitality is an unlock to generate emotional connection and avoid commoditization. Secondly, personalization, gamification, and community are all hallmarks of modern loyalty programs. And thirdly, subscription and other paid loyalty models create a major unlock and create a flywheel revenue stream for those who offer them.
Thank you, Adam. The third disturbance in the retail galaxy that we believe all companies need to grasp is how you can create those moments of discovery and inspiration for your shoppers, and how in the digital world, these moments are increasingly blurring with transacting. Now, the focus on digital influencing here is very deliberate. Whilst the point of purchase still remains physical in the majority of cases and the majority of categories, for many retailers and brands, the point of influence of critical demand creation are increasingly digital. Now, there's a lot we could talk about here, so for the next few minutes, I want to dive into the 2 intertwined forces that we see changing how consumers discover products digitally. That's the impact of AI on search and the continued growth of social commerce. eMarketer data shows in the last 5 years, nearly 20% of adults in the 5 largest European economies have made a purchase that started directly on a social media platform. And commerce integrations are driving significant growth forecasts for the social commerce market. Furthermore, nearly 10% of shoppers now typically start searching for products on social media, making these platforms increasingly important search vehicles. As shown in this research published by eMarketer last December, which shows the multiple routes European shoppers are taking to find products. And it shows the fragmentation that is already taking place in how your shoppers search for you. And note that the prominence of retailer and brand-owned properties means that search engines don't dominate in retail to the same extent they do in other industries. And now, as we see Gen AI maturing, even more routes are developing. The building blocks for the widespread adoption of Gen AI-based search are now established. For example, Google already offers Gemini-powered AI overviews in more than 100 countries to over 1.5 billion users every month. And just in the last fortnight, Google has taken a further step, launching AI mode with new shopping tools for its users in the US. Now, on the owned properties of retailers and brands, Gen AI search has been incorporated with chatbots and native language search. And here, customer adoption has perhaps been a little slow, as so ingrained are those search bar-driven behaviors. Yet customer adoption of visual search is increasing, and analysts forecast that the market for image recognition will double over the next 5 years. Gen AI is also powering the development of AI shopping assistants, and this topic is currently moving at warp speed. So at Shoptalk Spring in Las Vegas back in March, Perplexity announced that it is adding click-to-buy functionality into its query results. And then ChatGPT did likewise in April, before then announcing PayPal integration to begin the embedding of finance within these tools just last month. Now, on these platforms, shoppers can quickly undertake comparative research with complex or higher consideration purchases and now move straight to transacting. The average value of products that people are currently searching and querying for on Perplexity is between 35 and 105 euros per item. Now, how brands influence search results on these tools will be a major competitive battleground in the year ahead, and one where some traditional routes to influence are simply unavailable. For example, Perplexity again has no paid-for route to influence search results or recommendations. Instead, it focuses on generating organic results as it attempts to establish itself as an unbiased resource. Then when you take all this one step further, shopping agents powered by agentic AI have the theoretical potential to significantly disrupt shopping behaviour by completing some purchasing for consumers entirely autonomously. It's what Sam Altman, CEO of OpenAI, recently described as moving from people using ChatGPT as a search engine to using it as their own personal operating system. In this world, retailers and brands will face a brand new paradigm. How do you influence the agent that is doing the buying? It's a model still as yet entirely unproven, and an emerging trend that we must all pay close attention to. So, our 3 takeaways on digital inspiration and discovery are, number 1, winning in search and discovery is more fragmented than ever and will require a wider skill set and a wider partner base to succeed. Secondly, social commerce continues to blend search and discovery and requires specific approaches to both content creation and supply chain. And number 3, is understanding how to influence AI commerce tools will be a key battleground in the years ahead.
Thank you, Ben. And our 4th and final principle to navigating this new retail galaxy is the imperative to balance the exciting and potentially game-changing opportunities of adjacent revenue streams with the need to focus on the core retail business. Now, many retailers have been increasingly looking towards new revenue streams, especially retail media, to help supplement or even offset declining margins in the core business and to spur revenue growth. Yet this is happening at a time when we believe all retailers and brands need to be crystal clear on the role that you play for your core customers. We therefore see 4 hazards that all retailers and brands need to swerve as they pursue adjacent revenue streams. Senior management distraction when exploring new revenue streams at the expense of addressing challenges within the core business. Miss or under allocation of resources, as launching a B2B business invariably requires new operational muscles. Misunderstanding the scale of the potential opportunity, and the risk that the new adjacent revenue stream directly competes with your core reason for being, well, a retailer. So to help avoid these challenges, we believe the unlock lies in remaining focused on how these activities generate genuine customer value. Now, retail media is the biggest new revenue opportunity right now, so we'll use that as an example.
Yeah.
Growing a retail media business means focusing on consumer brands as your new customers, while also still looking after your shoppers. Consumer brands expect 5 things from their retail media partners. Capabilities in both creative ad formats and measurement, including attribution metrics, both on-site, off-site, and in-store and online. Audience and reach and scale still matter to ad buyers. For regional or niche retailers, partnerships and platform aggregators are emerging to enable this scale. But in addition to scale, the advertisers are also looking for the ability to reach specific audience segments at strategic moments. They're also looking for retailers to bring innovative opportunities to their most unique media spaces, which is, of course, their physical stores.
Yeah.
And finally, solutions that enhance the customer journey, enriching, not inhibiting, the customer experiences with meaningful interventions. Successful retail media propositions will create a trifecta of value for the retailer, the marketer, but also the shopper. Now, while retail media is dominating this discussion, a second area receiving much focus is the commercialization of technology solutions developed in-house to sell to other retailers. Now, these tools are often focused on back office or supply chain processes that unlock operational efficiencies, and it's a trend that appears to benefit the smallest and largest retailers most. Larger retailers receive the additional margin boost, and smaller retailers gain access to industry-leading solutions that could have previously been beyond the scope of their internal development budgets or capabilities. For mid-sized retailers, it's admittedly a harder space to benefit from. Now, capitalizing on the adjacent revenue stream imperative, whether retail media, technology commercialization, or otherwise, requires retailers to develop new skills. Business-to-business sales, where previously they have been the buyers. Product development and roadmaps focused on entirely new customer bases, international reach and scalability to widen the pool of potential customers, and the ability to interact with existing stakeholders in whole new ways simultaneously with the core retail business, from selling to suppliers and cooperating with competitors. So as you think about your company's own opportunities, here are our 3 takeaways. The fast growth of retail media makes it an exceptionally attractive revenue stream for retailers. Succeeding with adjacent revenue streams and any new line of business requires creating value for existing shoppers and at the same time delivering value to the customers of the new business, whose interests may not always 100% align. And adjacent revenue opportunities are not easy. They require focus, and they risk taking away efforts from critical areas of your core business.
Later today, when you leave our 3-day exploration of all the opportunities we see in European retail, we hope you leave better equipped to help your businesses and inspired to put these new insights into action. So before we leave you this morning, here's a reminder of our 4 big themes: the need for operational efficiency and agility, the importance of providing customer hospitality, the new routes available to inspire shoppers and unlock discovery, and the imperative of balancing adjacent revenue streams.
So enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of Shoptalk Europe, and we hope to see you at our 3 p.m. key takeaways. Thank you.
Thank you.